A new session of Parliament underway and a high-stakes Liberal caucus meeting tomorrow. The Ontario arm of the Canadian Taxpayer Federation is planning to protest outside of the office of the Ontario Liberal caucus chair to call for an end to the carbon tax. Right now, Jay Goldberg joins us live with more. So, Jay, we have to talk about this. The carbon tax, this discussion is still going on. Taxes or checks, they've already started going out to people.
Yeah, so the discussion is still going on. We know that the caucus meeting is going to happen tomorrow, and we've heard Atlantic MPs in the past really speak out against the carbon tax, particularly on home heating. We saw home heating oil exemption happen last year when Atlantic Canadian Liberal MPs spoke out. And so now we're calling on Ontario MPs to speak out as well, because Canadians and Ontarians are ready to turn the page on the carbon tax. We just saw a report last week from the Parliamentary Budget Officer showing that the average Ontario household is losing $400 a year from the carbon tax even after the rebate. So despite the checks going out, people are still coming up short.
Okay, so Jay, what's the reality, the realistic expectation of what's going to happen here?
Well, I think the realistic expectation is that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's job is on the line. You saw today that he was meeting with largely his team. These are his folks that he's picked to join his cabinet. Now he's going to have to meet with the backbenchers who stand to possibly lose their seats in the next election if something doesn't change. And we've seen polls, the CTF just had a poll out today showing that 60% of Canadians want to see home heating be exempt from the carbon tax completely. So that's something the Prime Minister could look at. Because as we saw last year, soon after caucus met last fall, he announced the exemption for the home heating oil, which largely applied to Atlantic Canada because of the push of Liberal MPs in Atlantic Canada. We could see the same here in Ontario if we have a push by Ontario Liberal MPs to have a full exemption for home heating that includes natural gas.
Okay, so what are some of the other items, the hot topics that you guys are going to be pushing for during this session? I mean, look, we just saw the protests regarding the $10 a day childcare program.
Well, I think affordability is the number one concern that's on the minds of Canadians, whether it's the carbon tax, whether it's high taxes. And so we've seen runaway deficits in Ottawa. We're seeing this year, for example, we're spending more money on debt interest, over $50 billion federally, than they are on health care, which is a stunning statistic. And so I think Canadians are looking for the federal government to get the budget under control, get taxes down, and really leave more money in the pockets of Canadians. We know that 50% of Canadians say they're $200 away from not being able to pay their bills. When you have something as expensive as the carbon tax making home heating and filling up at the pumps and food more expensive, these are the kinds of things that I think people are looking for as we move forward.
And for Torontonians, when it comes to that $200 away from not being able, to make your bills, what are some tangibles to get money in the pockets and keep money in the pockets of Torontonians that you guys are looking at?
Well, again, with the carbon tax, people need to get to work. They need to get their kids to school. It's about 20 cents a litre when you add in the carbon tax along with some of the sales tax that's put on top of that. That would be significant savings for families. You take it off of home heating, for example. The average Ontario household is going to spend $381 on the carbon tax on home heating this winter. That would save every household in this city and province when they're heating their homes. So that's something tangible that they could do right now that would make a meaningful difference in the lives of Torontonians and Ontarians.
Okay. Jay Goldberg with the Ontario arm of the Canadian Taxpayer Federation. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.